clapperboard the battle Joshua couldn't lose poetic cold open. The daytime refused to move. The sun hung trembling over the valley. Not rising. Not falling. Waiting. Dust hovered in the air like suspended breath. Shadows froze at the feet of fleeing kings. Swords paused mid-swing. And in that strange silence between heaven and earth, a man stood beneath the open sky, not commanding armies, but daring to speak to time itself. Heaven listened. Historical and spiritual context, a land that resisted promise. The land had been promised long before it was seen, a land spoken in covenant, a land walked only in faith. But promise does not silence resistance. Kings gathered in secret, 5 rulers bound by fear more than loyalty. Their cities fortified, their pride unbroken. They did not merely fight men. They fought destiny, and the sky gave no sign of whose side it favored. Introduction of the central figure, the servant who inherited a shadow. He had not always led. He had once stood behind another, a man who spoke with God face to face. Now that voice was gone, and the weight of unfinished promise rested on him. His hair carried the dust of wilderness years. His hands remembered battles won only by obedience. He was not fearless. He was faithful, and sometimes that is more costly. Faith in motion, the march into the impossible. When the enemy moved, he did not retreat. He walked through the night. No trumpet announced his coming. No fire marked his path. Only quiet footsteps toward overwhelming odds. His men followed, not because victory was certain, but because obedience was. Still, heaven remained silent. Internal conflict and testing, the prayer no man had prayed. Morning revealed the valley filled with enemies. Victory had begun, but time was slipping away. Light was fading, and with it, the moment. He felt it, the fragile line between promise and loss. No prophet stood beside him. No voice spoke from cloud or flame. Only the terrifying responsibility to ask for the impossible. He lifted his eyes and spoke, not to men, but to the sun. Divine silence as tension when heaven does not answer immediately. The words left his lips and entered eternity. And nothing happened. The sun burned as it always had. The sky remained unmoved. The battle raged on. For a moment, faith stood alone, unconfirmed, unanswered, exposed. Moment of judgment/revelation when creation obeyed. Then, the light held. Shadows stopped crawling. Time hesitated. The sun stood still. Not by command of a king, but by the authority of a servant who believed. The earth itself yielded to obedience, and heaven fought for him. Discipline, restoration, and vindication, victory that belonged to God. The enemy did not escape. Their strength failed beneath a sky that refused to protect them. Stones fell from above. Fear scattered their unity. Victory came, but not as proof of human power. As testimony, God had not merely watched the battle. He had entered it. Legacy reflection, the man who spoke and heaven answered. He would not be remembered for the battles he fought, but for the moment he trusted God beyond reason. He did not control the sun. He obeyed the one who did, and history would whisper of the day when heaven paused. For faith. Spiritual question, the silence that still waits. There will be moments when time seems against you, when the light begins to fade, when promise feels unfinished, and heaven is quiet. In that moment, will you trust enough to ask, or will you let the sun set on what God was willing to finish through you?